Stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs. If you had a bad day and you're looking for a smile, bringing hope and joy for a day that was wild. Stuff from the cuffs is here to make things bright. In a world so dark, they're bringing some light. Stuff from the cuffs. Stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs. Go Bria, go Bill, go Bess, go Brian. Stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video right here on Stuff from the Cuffs, where we give you fire. We give you fun, inspiration, we're real and we're educational. To all our new subscribers, welcome to the Cufflinks family. Happy to have you.
Tenants in the building! Cufflinks in the building! I forgot to do that the last time, so let me do it again. Tenants in the building! Cufflinks in the building!
Yeah.
Big up to Bria for trying to do it for me and representing
Yeah.
the Cufflinks brand in the video where I was missing, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you're new, please feel free to go ahead and click that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on. And in advance, welcome to the Cufflinks family.
And guys, we continue to be real in this two-part series. We were looking at
Calling it quits.
and some of the things that cause people to call it quits. You know, marriages are... There's one story that says that marriages are happening on a lesser scale than in the past. So,
And this is pre-COVID.
This is pre-COVID. This
Yeah.
story is pre-COVID. But we are focusing on recent ones in COVID. Mm-hmm. And we looked at monotony, boredom, and parenting reasons and decisions made in the last video and how they affect breakups. In this one, we're going to start with communication. Now, again, I've heard from Professor Agri Brown back in Karamat, 2005, very first class. Communication is the active transference of intelligence. Nope, I'll get that wrong. You see? Karamat peeps.
Don't worry, you're old.
Communication is the active transference of meaning between intelligences. And oftentimes we don't have that meaning that happens. We don't have that interaction that happens. And we don't
have that transference that needs to take place
I
to
say
complete
you better
the
understand
communication process.
We don't make sure that there is a
Yeah.
completion to the whole process. There's a transmission and a receiving. You just talk. We talk at a lot of our partners, or we are spoken at, and we say, all right. So communication is a big deal. And, you know, even how we make decisions, how we, on a day-to-day basis, in COVID now, when things are so mundane, things are so much of a cash crunch, things are so much of a bore and routine and boring and routine, and can I say boring at times? You know, nightlife is cut off. Just socialization on a whole is affected. People don't communicate as much. Mm-hmm. They don't express their feelings, especially us as men, a lot more than women. We don't express ourselves, and sometimes we communicate in the wrong way. We speak we vent and we rant, but we don't take time out to listen to the other person. And communication affects so many relationships, and it's probably the number one factor, you know, or it's up there with finances and sex, but it's a big deal. And it's something that we continue to work at from before Wappy Kill Philip, from probably Adam and Eve days, you know, when the breakdown happened. But talking and expressing ourselves to each other in the realest, truest way is not being done.
And I think especially during COVID, because so many things are happening around us, it may not necessarily be something happening in the relationship, but so many things are happening around us in our jobs and, you know, the different changes that we have been going through. It's very important that you talk. And one thing that I have noticed, and not just during COVID, but even before, the external factors that affect you also translate into your relationship with your spouse, with your children. And so if I one day get up and I am not my usual self because something is going wrong with a job that I have, or I need to meet a deadline and I'm not getting through,
I don't know about it.
and he doesn't know
I
about
just
it,
wonder why you're behaving like that.
why am I so miserable, and why I'm so edgy, and why I'm so impatient with the kids, that sort of thing, you have to communicate. And likewise, you have to communicate when there's a problem in the relationship. There is a video going around on TikTok that I absolutely love. I love watching every version of it that I see. It's where the husband is leaving or the wife is leaving the house and they say, "Love you." And the other partner, as a prank, they don't answer. And a lot of times the husbands turn back like, "Love you, babe, love you," to no answer. It's just a prank, to no answer. And the reason a lot of them decided that, all right, I'm going to push to see if you're not going to say "I love you" back, because that's what you normally do, is to just ensure that things are okay. And I even though it's a prank, even though it's a trendy prank on TikTok, I admire the husbands and the wives who insist that obviously something is wrong. Let's fix it before I leave the house. And so there's a message in that too.
Yeah. Next thing is forced sacrifices, and you realize some of these have overlapping arms. Forced sacrifices. We personally can relate to one of those.
Well, it wasn't forced by each other.
The situation never happened.
Yeah.
But
situation forced us though.
No, forced sacrifices meaning.
Oh, what could have been. All right,
I am forced to make a decision. For those who are new, when we were much earlier, much younger in our relationship, we had to be living apart because of the job situation. Mm-hmm. And there were times when I felt forced to make a sacrifice for my family. And if I had rushed to make that decision because of feeling the pressures and feeling like I'm upset and I'm trying not to argue, I would have regretted it and it would have caused problems down the line. So let's say there would be days when I would be like,
resentful.
I would resent, my wife, my family even. And I would probably, because I'm human, make comments like, "Your fault," or "You make this happen," and if you never force me to leave my job, So some of those things, and there are situations like that out there where persons, either the male or the female, has been forced to give up something they consider valuable. And when I say force, there's not like you need to, but sometimes there are you need to, this will solve it. And sometimes it doesn't solve it and it causes another issue.
And sometimes it's the guilt that is placed on that person that makes them feel like, okay, I have to make this decision. Mm-hmm. We caution, and from personal experience, we caution couples from making forced decisions that are not mutual. I understand when situations force you to make a decision versus your spouse forcing you to make a decision that you may not be comfortable with, or you may not be, you may not be in agreement with. It can lead to, again, the festering of resentment and other things down the line. So,
and I mean, there are times it may work where the man is not seeing what it's gonna do, but it works out down the road, or the woman. But we are suggesting that it's not done that way because it oftentimes works out the opposite. The person leaves out there, they're miserable.
And again, to those who are new, when Brian was going to make that forced decision because maybe of things I was saying, and how I was expressing my frustration and how things were breaking down between us, I realized in that moment that it would not have been the best decision for him to make it when he was upset or when I was upset, and just unloading on him and all of that. So even though at the time I really needed you to make the decision, I also understood, and that's why it's so important to get help, guys, when you need it. I actually got that nugget from Kamala.
We're going to get to the help.
She said something and it triggered me to think that direction.
We're going to give them the help after.
Okay.
Yeah? So yeah.
Forced decisions.
All right, the final two have to do with intimacy and being functional. And intimacy, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, whether you are not as intimate as your partner needs it to be, or you're more intimate than the partner would actually be comfortable with.
Because you are home alone.
Yeah. And I mean it's funny, but I've heard of cases where partners were sex addicts, so to speak, and it really drove the other partner. It drove the other partner up the wall. So there's so many things we have to look at as it relates to, and no pun intended. But the person just couldn't keep up. They couldn't manage. And there are different triggers for different people, and or the lack thereof. There are some who are not doing it as much because when you're home and you're stressed, you're just not in the mood.
Yeah.
You have this to do.
Versus being apart, can't wait to get home.
Anticipation, the pleasure, but no, you're always not anticipating because you're always there. And there's a saying, absence make the heart grow fonder. And now the person is always there. They're not absent, so you're like, okay, I'm not getting to miss you. But we don't want to spend too much time on that because the most important one, I think, and the biggest one that probably covers a lot of these other ones are that there are marriages that are just functional. Yeah. It serves a function, whether it is bringing two salaries together, whether it is, co-parenting, whether it's just intimate. But more so in these days especially is what it does in the public domain. What the appearance of a healthy marriage does for you. It builds a brand, it builds, a name, it builds a partnership. Yeah. And it is not really about love. And love is non-existent. It is just about purpose. Business. It's business, or it is promotional, or it is self-fulfilling, marketing. But there is no love, there is no intimacy, there is no companionship. And some of the things that people get married for, companionship, fruitfulness, from a church perspective as well. And for security, for some people, it is better growing children in a secure environment. It is better being in a covenant where people are sharing funds, etc. But if there's only a function, what happens when the functions cease to exist, which is what we looked at in a lot of these other breakdowns. We no longer have the kids. Function ceases to exist, we cease to exist. We no longer have the bills to pay or the loans that we took out, it's all paid off. We no longer love each other, we no longer like each other. It questions if you really loved each other in the first place, So I think that's one of the biggest reasons, a lot of times it's to deal with a feeling of loneliness and that's it, I just don't want to be alone. And when you're now, I guess, self-fulfilled and you no longer feel alone all the while, then this person is now in your space. Marriage is a lot of work here, guys, and there are a lot of variables to take into consideration. So that's it for me on functionality. What about you?
Yeah, as it relates to functionality, and you spoke about having that image out in the public's eye and making sure that you keep up the appearances, it sometimes becomes such a routine business transaction.
Yeah. And we don't mean that money is being passed on.
No, man. That's not what I mean.
Opportunities,
ensuring that you present yourself together at all times. Not because you really enjoy being together.
People prefer to see you together. Yes,
people prefer to see you together. And that is why a lot of times when couples are in the public space and they're referred to as goals and all of that, when that breaks down, people are left wondering like, how? Yeah. But sometimes, we just have to take a step back and to just think about the reason and the why. A lot of couples, may have blossomed into the public's eye genuinely because of their relationship and their marriage and their love for each other. But as the brand builds, as the couple gets more popular, what happens is that part now takes precedence. And so you find that the marriage is breaking down.
And you're not tending to the situation.
But
when
you see them in the public eye, you cannot tell. And so it's very important. So just pull back a little if you realize that that's happening.
And take care of
care. Yes. Take care of home. Take care of all the bruises before they turn into cuts. Dress those cuts before they fester into sores.
Take care of all the sores before you have to chop it off.
Yes, there you go. And before you chop it off, before it turns into sepsis and everything and the whole works, make sure you take care of your marriage. It's very, very important. And, back to a point.
Take care of your marriage over your image.
Ding! Yes. Yes, take care of your marriage over your image. If you have to take a step back from social media, from the public's eye, the whole works to take care of your marriage, do that. Do that. And I know a few of our cufflinks are actually getting married very soon. And so we want to wish you all the best on that journey.
Yep.
All the best on that journey.
So how can help be found? Seek professional help. Bass has made mention of counseling time and time again. It's something we advocate. Premarital counseling, post-marital counseling, continuous counseling.
Yeah.
And counseling doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go and sit in counseling all the time. But there are different ways you get counsel. Attending marriage seminars, attending family seminars, so many different things. And now that space has become more virtual, so we're able to attend a lot more.
Yeah.
And funny enough, one of the things the article promoted, one of the articles, was that there are less opportunities for couple sessions, etc. And yes, it does help being in the same space. But now when it's virtual, you can listen to a lot more. You can get a lot more advice.
You can go
right to your
more.
questions.
Yeah,
go overseas.
Yes,
to international conventions and all of those things. So that is important for me. Forming WhatsApp groups.
Marriage groups.
Yeah. And I don't think it should just be a farm in a WhatsApp group where couples just come and vent and share them problems. But it has to have structure and purpose, right? And even if you have somebody in there who is a psychologist to give advice, it's important. Churches, yes.
Before you go on to the churches, I know that this comment has been controversial before. I've said it already on social media, and I'll say it for the purpose of this video. All right, let me frame it properly. I am not saying that there aren't single people who can give married people advice, but I will be very firm in my position that it's not every single person you can tell your married problems. There are single persons like Brian. Before he got married, Brian could give excellent marriage advice because of his experiences and his friends and all of that, right? But there are persons who are single who cannot relate to marriage matters, and they can lead you astray. I'll pull on one example as we get ready to wrap up. I remember I had a friend who was married, one who was single. The married one said something to the single one in relation to her husband having a particular habit or something that he did. And the first comment from the single friend was, Let him and find somebody else. And I said, no. It's not so easy as ABC to just let him because of something that your husband, a bad habit that you don't like. Try other ways of resolving the matter, whether it is, she didn't talk to him about it. I said, that's step one. You talk to him about it. If you talk to him about it and it's not helping, then you try to get external help, yeah? And then you go to counseling, that kind of thing. But the first thing off the lips of the single person was left him. And for those of you who don't understand what that term means, it means to leave him, to break up with your spouse. And I'm saying no. And so married folks, and those looking to get married, be careful of who you get advice from, who you take advice from. A lot of counselors are trained, right? They may not be married, but they can give you excellent advice. So be careful.
Mela, why are you crying? Why are you crying, Mela? All right. Church support groups. But most importantly, I think it goes back to checking on your friends. Just check on your friends. Ask, how are you? Married couples reach out to each other. Single people reach out to married persons. Married people reach out to single persons, who are preparing for marriage, etc. Just check on your friends. But most importantly, help is there.
Yeah.
We are never alone. Yeah, it may feel like you're alone. It may feel rough, but there is help available. All right?
Yeah, there is help available. And just as how we invest in other things in our lives, when we are going to a job interview, we do all the research on the business that we are going to be interviewed for. We ask people about what their experience was like, that kind of thing. Channel the same kind of energy into making your marriage work. Yeah. Channel that same kind of energy. Hey.
All right, so.
Say hi, guys.
That's it for another video here. Where we bring you fire.
Hi guys.
All right, guys. So yeah.
Make your marriage work. May for Marriages. You can check out Brian's social media posts on May for Marriages. He does it every year. Instagram, Facebook, Brian Cuff on Facebook, Valiant
Brian M.
Cuffling,
Cuff.
right? Valiant Cufflinks on Instagram, and of course the fruitfulness of our marriage. They're here, so we gotta wrap this up, guys. May your marriage work. Katoria Clark, congratulations. She's getting married, I think, in a month.
Big up
Oh,
yourself.
this month then. She's getting married this month then. Congratulations to you, and may your marriage work.
All right. That's it. See you next time.
Stuff from the cuffs, stuff from the cuffs. If you had a bad day and you're looking for a smile, bringing hope and joy for a day that was wild. Stuff from the cuffs is here to make things bright. In a world so dark, they're bringing some light.